Kelsey Collier, and I will oversee the entire VITA process. I will attend each VITA filing day and will be available for any questions or potential problems that will need assistance. If you ever have any questions throughout your volunteering experience, direct them to me, Alan Davis, or one of the GTRAs.
I'm the first person to meet the client, and I introduce the client to the process that they will go through. I can answer any simple questions the client might have about our services, and I will give the client the appropriate intake sheet and start their client folder.
I will verify that the client has all the necessary documents, social security cards, W-2s, and so forth. Once the client has completed the intake sheet, I will explain the rest of the process to the client and then deliver the client's information to the volunteer coordinator. I will also maintain the client file, record the client's social security numbers, and assist international students in completing the 8843 form.
My name is Alan Davis. I'm Kelsey's special assistant. My job is to review the client information to determine the difficulty of the return. If it's too complex, we will tell the client that we can't do the tax return. If it's a very simple tax return, I will give it to a volunteer with less experience. If it's a middle-of-the-road tax return, I will give it to a volunteer with more experience. I will introduce the client to the volunteer, and I will also advise the volunteer if there's something special about the tax return. In the event that we get very busy, I will call in the on-call volunteers in consultation with Kelsey.
I'm a volunteer with high levels of interaction with the clients. I will come to Violet Hall 1408 dressed in business casual 15 minutes before my shift begins and will sign in with Alan Davis, the volunteer coordinator. After being assigned a return, the volunteer coordinator takes me to meet the client. I give the client a nice handshake and introduce myself. Then I will take the client to the computer lab, Violet Hall 1432, where I will enter the necessary data into TaxWise, explain the basics of the process to the client. After I finish the return, I will raise my hand to let the reviewers know that I am done. A reviewer will then come over and check my work. Once it is approved, I will take the client and the printed return to the assembly room, introduce them to the assembly assistant, and then return to the waiting room for another client. I am assigned to work a 4-hour shift, but being a professional, I know that I will stay until I am released by the volunteer coordinator.
I'm the tax expert in Violet Hall 1432. If the volunteer has any questions while completing the return, they will ask me and I will know or get the answer for them. After the volunteer completes the return, I go through the return and double check the work of the volunteer. After I'm satisfied, I print the return for the client and send the volunteer and client to the assembly room.
Put together the client's return. I will take all of the printed information and organize it for the client's record. I also tell the client what they need to mail in if they were not able to file electronically. I also tell the client where to mail the check if they have any tax due. The assembly assistant will make any copies that I need.
The assembly room with the assemblers, and when the clients are brought in, I greet the clients and have them take a seat. I keep track of what order the clients come in order to keep an orderly line for the assemblers. I will make any copies that the assembler needs for the tax return, and when I'm not greeting new clients or making copies, I go around the room and make small talk with the clients. I also hand out the VITA Experience Survey.
I am the volunteer that will be used if we have a large influx of clients. If I am called in, I am expected to report to Violet Hall within 10 minutes, dressed in business casual. I am required to be on call for 2 hours. If I am called in, I will stay until the volunteer coordinator releases me.